Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought it was a good show tonight. Enjoyed Monday Night Raw tonight. WWE, I feel like they're putting effort into Monday Night Raw than they are doing SmackDown, which, SmackDown is just a chore to sit through at 3 hours on Friday. I mean, you could put some quality into SmackDown, just, you're putting all your eggs into making Monday Night Raw much, much better, which they should balance it. Make Monday Night Raw good and make SmackDown good at 3 hours. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we had two Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, which I'll get to. We had Damage Control, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. They ended up taking on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. We had Bayley. She ended up taking on Lyra Valkryria in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. The World Tag Team Championship was on the line, where the Raw Raiders, Eric and Ivar, end up defending the titles against the Creed brothers, Bruce and Julius Creed, of American Made. And the main event was the Elimination Chamber qualifying match, Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. And we also got a confirmation on who JEY USO will face at WrestleMania. So, confirmation of that. But overall, Monday Night Raw, very good show it was tonight. But anyway, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw open up tonight with JEY USO. Of course, JEY USO always starting off the show. Mr. Main Event JEY USO, Mr. Yeet. He was in the arena concourse area, surrounded by the fans. And of course, he made his way down through the crowd. Everybody was doing the JEY USO, the Yeet. So we got a 10-minute entrance, as always. Which, when the crowd is going, one more time, and then we get JEY USO's music hitting again, and they're doing Yeet. I'm like, it was good the first time after the Royal Rumble, but if they keep on doing this, it's going to get old very fast. To the point where we're going to be rolling our eyes. And, the crowd say one more time, if it keeps going, we're going to be like, oh my God, please stop. But JEY USO, he did his Yeet, and he ended up standing on the commentary table. So, as soon as, Jay ended up doing the Yeet on the commentary table, having fun with the fans, he ended up getting attacked by GUNTER. So, GUNTER ended up chop blocking Jay off of the commentary table. We thought that Jay fell off the commentary table. But GUNTER ended up, delivering that chop block to Jay. GUNTER took off his jacket and looked like he was going to throw his jacket at Pat McAfee, but Pat McAfee ducked and it actually hit a kid. GUNTER's jacket hit a kid in the crowd. So GUNTER ended up hitting Jay with a back suplex on the commentary table, and he stood over Jay. Crowd was loudly booing GUNTER. GUNTER then pulled Jay to his feet, but Jay started punching back at GUNTER. GUNTER ended up quickly backing Jay into the apron, and he ended up chopping at Jay's chest. GUNTER then ended up getting JEY USO in the ring. GUNTER then got in, and he ended up sizing Jay up to deliver a big boot. GUNTER then ended up ripping off Jay's shirt, the Yeet shirt, and he ended up chopping Jay down. So GUNTER then ended up picking up Jay, and GUNTER delivered a massive powerbomb in the center of the ring to Jay. Of course, officials end up running down to pull Gunther away from Jey. Gunther ended up quickly blowing through the officials, and he then went and delivered a second powerbomb to Jey. Officials then stood in between both Gunther and Jey. Gunther then finally walked off, and he started smirking. He liked what he did to Jey Uso. The crowd was shown chanting, "Gunther sucks." So Jey was still lying on the canvas, selling the powerbomb shot from Gunther. So then Jey got a mic. Jey then sat up. Gunther ended up warning Jey that he is not worthy of facing him at WrestleMania. So then Jey ended up saying, "Maybe I shouldn't say this. Gunther, me and you at WrestleMania." So Gunther was outraged by that. So he ended up charging down to the ring. Gunther then got on the apron, and Jey ended up punching Gunther down to ringside. Jey hit the ropes, and he ended up diving over the top rope with a nice plancha onto Gunther. He took out Gunther and the officials on the outside. So Gunther was then pulled away by the officials, and he was irate. He didn't want to face Jey Uso at WrestleMania, but, now Jey ended up saying, "No, I want to face you at WrestleMania now." And that was how the segment ended. But overall, very good opening to Monday Night Raw here. Jey Uso is hot with the crowd, and this was the right direction for them to do. It doesn't make sense for Jey to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and WWE making the right booking decision in having Jey face Gunther at WrestleMania. And WWE should capitalize on how hot Jey Uso is and making him the new World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania, him defeating Gunther, and give him, his WrestleMania moment. When Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, that crowd is going to erupt like hell. And when that happens, can't wait to see it. Like I said, overall, very good opening to Monday Night Raw here. And then we saw Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage with Rhea Ripley, the Women's World Champion. Kathy Kelly ended up asking how Rhea Ripley is navigating everything. Rhea ended up saying to Kathy Kelly that if Liv Morgan wins at Elimination Chamber, she'll deal with her at WrestleMania. And I thought we were over this already. I thought it was going to end at the Royal Rumble. Looks like we're still continuing with this Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan shit. So Rhea ended up saying, as for the top girl, Charlotte Flair, of course, she is wasting everyone's time. So Io Sky and Dakota Kai, Damage Control, walked up to Rhea Ripley. Io ended up saying that Rhea cost her WrestleMania and that she's coming for her. So Rhea ended up saying to Io, "I am looking forward to it." So pretty much that was basically that. And we got a match confirmed for the Monday Night Raw after Elimination Chamber, where it's going to be Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, which was confirmed from Rhea Ripley. It was made official by Adam Pearce, and later on the night, Rhea Ripley ended up telling Io that. And then we had the first match of the night. Damage Control, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. They ended up facing Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and this was a good match here. At first, I'm like, all right, this is boring so far, but then as the match progressed, it picked up, and there's some good tag team wrestling tonight. So The match got underway. Liv Morgan started off the match with Io Sky. Liv Morgan quickly avoided Io and tagged Raquel in. Io ended up yelling at Liv Morgan as Raquel Rodriguez ended up approaching Io. Io then slapped Raquel. So that led to Raquel end up lifting Io by her neck, and she ended up slamming Io down. Io fought back, and she ended up leaping over Raquel. Dakota Kai then blind tagged in, and Dakota Kai and Io ended up taking Raquel down, and they ended up sandwiching Raquel with stereo drop kicks. So Dakota Kai ended up going for the cover, to which Raquel ended up kicking out. Dakota Kai had Raquel in the corner, and she ended up pinning a big snapmare to Raquel. Raquel threw Dakota off, and she connected with a clothesline to Dakota. Liv Morgan then tagged back in, but Dakota Kai ended up hitting a scorpion kick to Liv Morgan. Io then tagged in, and she ended up pulling Liv Morgan away from the corner. Io ended up doing some handsprings, and she ended up drop kicking Liv Morgan down. So Raquel ended up tagging in, and Raquel big booted Io down. Raquel then attacked Io in the corner. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez end up going back and forth with tags to double team up on Io. Yeah, Raquel ended up hitting Io with a power slam. So Raquel ended up going for the cover, and Io ended up kicking out. Raquel then ended up throwing Io down by her hair. She ended up bouncing her into the corner. Raquel then tagged Liv Morgan in, to which Liv Morgan then ended up hitting Io with a bulldog. So Liv ended up going for the cover, to which Io ended up kicking out. Raquel then tagged back in, and she ended up striking Io down. Raquel ended up going for a slam, but Io ended up countering that into a sleeper hold on Raquel. Raquel ended up quickly backing Io into the corner, and Io ended up flipping through a back suplex and tagged Dakota Kai in. So Dakota Kai came in, and she ended up knocking Raquel back and started unloading with some forearms to her. Dakota Kai ended up pinning a clothesline to Raquel, but Raquel stood standing. That clothesline did nothing to Raquel. So that led to Dakota ended up kicking Raquel in her knee, and she ended up pinning a running boo in the corner. Dakota ended up going for the cover, to which Raquel kicked out. Raquel ended up going to the apron. Dakota Kai started stomping Raquel's head into the canvas. Liv Morgan ran in, but Io ended up sending Liv Morgan out of the ring. Dakota Kai then kicked Liv Morgan in the face from the apron. Dakota Kai then ended up going for a big boot on Raquel, but we had Dakota Kai end up hitting the ring post because Raquel ended up moving out of the way. So then Raquel slammed Dakota Kai's face into the ring post. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Io and Liv Morgan end up tagging in. Io ended up hitting a pair of running chops, which was followed by a drop kick. So Liv Morgan ended up reversing the whip from Io, but Io ended up holding the ropes and knocked Liv Morgan out of the ring. We had Io end up sizing Liv Morgan up in the corner, and she ended up hitting a bullet train, to which she ended up going for the cover, and Liv Morgan ended up kicking out. We had Io end up taking a moment to recover. She ended up going for an over the moonsault, but she ended up landing on her feet when Liv Morgan ended up putting her feet up. Io ended up hitting Liv Morgan with a double underhook backbreaker. She ended up going for the cover, to which Liv Morgan ended up kicking out. So Io ended up going for another bullet train, but Raquel ended up pulling Liv Morgan out of the way. That led to Raquel tagging in. Raquel and Liv Morgan ended up hitting a flapjack into a flying codebreaker combo on Io, which that looked rough for Io there. It was a good spot from Raquel and Liv there. So Raquel ended up going for the cover, and Io ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, we had Io end up kicking Liv Morgan in the head. She ended up heading to the top rope. Io then connected with the over the moonsault. She ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Damage control. Io Sky and Dakota Kai ended up winning the match. And Liv Morgan's face was busted open. I don't know how she got busted open. It looked like her gear, like her boot gear, like broke or something, because a chain on her boot was loose. So I think the chain must have cut Liv, maybe. Who knows? But post match, Damage Control celebrated in the ring as Raquel Rodriguez carried Liv Morgan out of the ring. But overall, good match this was between Damage Control and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Good tag team match. And Michael Cole, after the match, announced that Sami Zayn, after last week on Monday Night Raw, where Kevin Owens ended up pile driving him, Michael Cole announced that Sami Zayn had suffered spinal compression and extreme nerve damage. So that's the update on Sami Zayn there. Then we had Bayley. She ended up taking on Lyra Valkryria. This was an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. And this was a decent match. Not great or perfect by any means. We had Roxanne Perez of NXT. She was seated at ringside. And next week on Monday Night Raw, Roxanne Perez is going to take on Raquel Rodriguez in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. And Roxanne Perez is going to be facing Bayley and Julia in a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship this Saturday at Vengeance Day. To which Vengeance Day is looking like a pretty good show from the card. I mean, we got Obafemi versus Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller, a triple threat match for the NXT Championship. And also Fallon Henley versus Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Which that's going to be pretty good as well. I'm a fan of Stephanie Vaquer. She's really good in the ring. So only 3 matches so far for Vengeance Day. They're probably going to announce more tomorrow, maybe on NXT. We'll see. But looking forward to Vengeance Day. But the match going the way, both Bayley and Lyra Valkryria, of course, who is the Women's Intercontinental Champion, they locked up. Bayley ended up wrenching Lyra's arm. Lyra connected with an arm drag to knock Bayley away. Bayley ended up grabbing Lyra's arm again and she started twisting it. Lyra ended up twisting through and she applied a side headlock on Bayley. Lyra then connected with a headlock takeover, but Bayley ended up grapevining Lyra's head. Lyra ended up quickly getting out of that, and both of them ended up going for a test of strength. Lyra tried to bridge up, but Bayley ended up kicking her shoulders out, and she ended up going for the coverage, which Lyra ended up kicking out. Lyra then ended up fighting up, and she ended up taking Bayley down. Bayley ended up fighting up, but Lyra ended up whipping Bayley off. Bayley came back and connected with a shoulder tackle, but Lyra ended up quickly popping up. Bayley took Lyra down again and started twisting Lyra's leg. Lyra quickly ended up taking Bayley down, to which Bayley ended up sending Lyra into the corner, and she countered a flapjack. Bayley then ended up knocking Lyra to the apron, and she ended up going for a rose plant, but Lyra shoved Bayley off. Bayley then ended up hitting a running forearm to Lyra's back, but Lyra ended up carrying that into a pin, to which Bayley kicked out. And Bayley was going for a rose plant again, but Lyra ended up carrying out of that also again, and Lyra ended up picking up another 2 count because Bayley kicked out. Bayley ended up quickly taking Lyra down, but Lyra ended up sending Bayley out of the ring. So Lyra then connected with a wrecking ball drop kick to the floor to Bayley, which that looked pretty cool. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Bayley was in control of the match. She ended up applying a neck vice to Lyra. Lyra got out of that neck vice with a jawbreaker to Bayley. Bayley ended up quickly grabbing Lyra, but Lyra ended up kicking Bayley in her midsection and started striking away at her. Lyra was going for a suplex, but Bayley countered that. but Lyra ended up clearly responding with a step up enziguri to Bayley. So Lyra went for the cover as Bayley ended up kicking out. Bayley then ended up striking Lyra, but Lyra responded with a spin kick. She ended up going for the cover again, to which Bayley kicked out. We had Lyra end up hitting a tornado DDT to Bayley, which that tornado DDT did not look good at all. So Bayley ended up fighting out, and she ended up hitting her Bayley belly to Lyra. She ended up going for the cover, to which Lyra kicked out. We had Bayley later on. She was on the apron. She climbed up to the second rope, and she was going for another Bayley to belly off of the ropes. But Lyra ended up knocking Bayley to the apron. Bayley was hanging over the second rope. Lyra then ended up hitting a diving leg drop, to which Bayley ended up getting out of the Nightwing by Lyra. So Lyra ended up rolling Bayley up, to which Bayley kicked out. So Lyra ended up going for the Migstrel, but Bayley ended up falling onto Lyra, and Bayley ended up cradling Lyra for the pin. So there you go. Bayley ended up winning the match. So Bayley is going into the Elimination Chamber. She's going to be joining Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair. So it's shaping up to be a pretty good women's Elimination Chamber there. So post-match, Bayley ended up helping Lyra up, and she hugged Lyra, show of respect. And it's pretty nice. The crowd ended up giving both Bayley and Lyra, a nice ovation. That was very good. But overall, this was a decent match. Not great or perfect by any means. I mean, Bayley and Lyra tried to have a technical match, and there was too many kind of miscues. But to me, they were not very much in sync with each other. But overall, still a decent match. So then we had a promo from Penta, Cero Miedo. So Penta shouted, Cero Miedo. And he ended up saying that he will teach Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser a lesson. So Penta has turned his attention to both Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser. Pretty much looking forward to anything, Penta is going to do. So then we saw Jackie Redmond backstage, and she was with Ludwig Kaiser. Kaiser ended up saying to Jackie Redmond that he won't stop with Penta until he's done for good. So Pete Dunne walked up. He ended up saying to Kaiser that he wasn't helping him last week. Kaiser ended up saying to Pete Dunne that he doesn't need Pete Dunne's help. Pete Dunne ended up saying that he is going to break Penta next week. He ended up saying that Penta will wish he never stepped foot onto Monday Night Raw. So Kaiser was like to Pete Dunne, if that's the case, he'll stay out of his business. So Pete Dunne walked off, and that was basically that. So Pete Dunne is going to face Penta next week on Monday Night Raw. Should be a good match there. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Lyra Valkryria. And she was talking with the Alpha Academy backstage. And this led to Ivy Nile and the Creed brothers walking up to them. Ivy Nile ended up mocking Lyra for losing tonight as the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. So Lyra ended up warning Ivy Nile to stay away from her. Ivy Nile ended up saying that she'll take the Women's Intercontinental Championship from Lyra, and the Creed brothers will first win the World Tag Team Championship. So pretty much that was that. Ivy Nile's had her eye on the Women's Intercontinental Championship since Lyra ended up winning and become the first ever Women's Intercontinental Champion. I mean, without doubt, we're going to get Lyra Valkryria versus Ivy Nile, possibly at the Elimination Chamber. And then we had AJ Styles. AJ Styles ended up making his way down to the ring. He returned to Monday Night Raw. And Michael Cole on commentary, he put over Styles' credentials that he had in Nashville. And he also put over his credentials when he was in TNA. So Styles ended up getting on the mic, and he looked moved from the crowd. He ended up saying that his heart is about to beat out of his chest. Styles ended up saying that he's got some major deja vu going on right now. He wanted to say that 4 months ago, he came into this building with the biggest smile on his face because this was his stomping ground. Styles ended up saying that he was going to get his career back on track, but then he got injured. So Styles ended up saying that this was a career-ending injury. He ended up saying that he thought his career was over. And when he woke up that morning and hobbled to the bathroom to look in the mirror, he still had gas in the tank. Styles ended up saying that it was hard getting back here, but anything worth doing is going to be hard. He ended up saying that it's going to suck. Still, he is in Smashville to tell the WWE Universe he is back. So Styles ended up saying that he has a long to-do list, and he wants to remind the locker room that he is still the phenomenal AJ Styles. So this led to Dominic Mysterio coming out. Dominic came out along with Carlito. The crowd, of course, booed loudly for Dominic. Dominic tried to speak, but the crowd ended up booing the hell out of him. Carlito then shouted to the crowd in Spanish. Don't know exactly what Carlito said. So Dominic ended up saying that it's been a while since Styles has been on Raw, and things have changed a little. Dominic ended up saying that the one thing that will always stay the same is that the Judgment Day runs Monday Night Raw. The Judgment Day is not going to last, that longer. So the crowd started chanting, "Dom, you suck." Styles then told the crowd to save their breath. Styles ended up saying that he knows who they are and has the battle scars to prove it. He ended up saying that Dominic is right. Things have changed. He ended up saying that Damian Priest isn't here anymore, and they're also down Rhea Ripley. Styles ended up saying that Dominic isn't what he expected. Styles ended up saying that all he sees is a guy in purple skinny jeans, of course, talking about Carlito, and Dominic Mysterio, who no one likes. Styles ended up saying that he is inspired by Dominic's work ethic. And he ended up saying that Dominic is here every night working, but he'll always be Rey Mysterio's punk-ass kid. So Dominic ended up going to hit Styles. Styles blocked that. Styles then ended up hitting Carlito with the Pele kick. Dominic took Styles down and put Styles against the ropes. Dominic ended up going for the 619, but Styles popped up, and he scared Dominic off. So Dominic was caught off guard with Styles popping up as he was trying to go for the 619. Carlito then attacked Styles, but Styles ended up knocking Carlito back. Styles then ended up taking Carlito down with the phenomenal forearm, and then Styles stood tall in the ring, and that was how the segment ended. But overall, very enjoyable segment this was. Great to see Styles back. He looks good. He's moving good. So, really great for Styles to be back. And then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was standing in the crowd, and she was joined by Seth Rollins. To which Seth Rollins, we didn't have to get a 10-minute entrance to Rollins. Everybody got in there. Whoa! Everybody in the crowd got those in. So Jackie Redmond ended up saying to Seth Rollins that the men's Elimination Chamber match is certainly stacked with John Cena, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre. She ended up saying later tonight we'll find out if Rey Mysterio or Logan Paul will be in the match. She ends up saying that next week Rollins will have a chance at the Elimination Chamber when he takes on Finn Balor. So Rollins ends up saying, oh, it feels great because we're in Nashville for Monday Night Rollins. He ends up saying that his path to WrestleMania is getting clearer. He ends up saying that Jey Uso will be taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that means all eyes are on Cody Rhodes and the undisputed WWE Championship. He ends up saying all eyes are on the Elimination Chamber and who will win. Rollins ends up saying that he is going to win the Elimination Chamber. So this led to Finn Balor. Finn Balor walked up to Rollins. Balor ended up saying that all eyes are on Rollins, but all people see is his downfall. He ended up saying that everyone sees the cracks. He ended up saying that they saw Rollins lose to Punk on the Netflix debut of Monday Night Raw. They saw Rollins lose his mind at the Royal Rumble. And Balor ended up saying that the only thing standing in his way of the Elimination Chamber and the world title of WrestleMania is a guy falling apart. So Rollins then asked Balor, oh, do you really believe that? Rollins ended up saying that they go back a long way and have done this dance once or twice, from WrestleMania to SummerSlam and everywhere in between. Rollins ended up saying that every time him and Balor are in the ring, they put on a show. Rollins ended up saying that he has news for Balor. He ended up saying that he has unfinished business with CM Punk. Then he has some loose ends to tie up with Cody. Rollins ended up saying that the way he sees it, it's Balor standing in his way. Rollins ended up saying that after next week, Balor won't be standing at all. So Balor then ended up laughing at Rollins, and pretty much that was basically that. Overall, this was, decent here. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw AJ Styles. Styles was shown talking with Adam Pearce. Pearce ended up saying to Styles that next week he will face Dominic Mysterio. And Styles was happy about that. So it's going to be, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles next week on Monday Night Raw. So Styles turned around and he saw Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker was wearing a cowboy hat, of course, since they're in Nashville. So Breaker coldly stared at Styles. And Breaker ended up saying to Styles, see you around. So that was basically that. But really like this face-to-face between Styles and Braun Breaker here. Without a doubt, we're going to be seeing them go one-on-one. Maybe for the Intercontinental Championship. It should be a good match, though, when it happens. Then we had the Creed brothers, Bruce and Julius Creed. They ended up taking on the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. This is for the World Tag Team Championship. The War Raiders defending the titles. And this was a very good match here. Really enjoyable match between these teams. Like I said, good tag team wrestling we saw tonight. So Eric started off the match against Bruce Creed. Bruce ended up taking Eric down, and Bruce started laughing at him. Like every time I see Bruce laughing, or when he's, doing a promo and laughing, I'm like, they're making him look like a geek, in my opinion. Like, do I really take Bruce Creed serious as a heel if he's just laughing? It's the same how I feel about Ricochet, but Ricochet's in AEW has done much worse, where he's just going, ah-ha! And Bruce Creed is not, doing that. So, but still. So Eric ended up quickly flooring Bruce with a run forearm, and Eric then tagged Ivar in. Ivar started unloading with some wild back elbows to Brutus, and Ivar actually stunned Brutus with those back elbows. Brutus then came back and he quickly chopped Eric in the throat, and Brutus then tagged his brother Julius Creed in. Julius started punching and kicking Ivar down. Brutus then tagged back in, and he had pinned a pair of shoulder thrusts to Ivar. We had Eric tag in, and he ended up delivering a T-bone suplex to Julius. Eric ended up taking Julius down, and he had pinned a deadlift German suplex. Brutus ran in, but Eric connected with a Uranagi to Brutus. Ivar tagged in, but immediately ended up tagging Eric back in. Ivar ended up taking Julius down. Julius then scoop slammed Ivar onto Brutus. Ivar ended up leaving the ring, and he had pinning Brutus with a running cross body block against the LED apron. Eric then kneed Julius in the face. He ended up going for the cover, to which Julius ended up kicking out. Eric then ended up hitting Julius with a sit-out powerbomb, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Julius ended up kicking out. So, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Eric was in control of the match. He started punching away at Julius. Julius then stopped Eric from making the tag to Ivar, and we had Julius end up slamming Eric down. Brutus then tagged in, and the Creeds end up driving Eric's shoulders into the ring post. Brutus then ended up lifting Eric. Julius ended up kneeing Eric in the head as Brutus ended up slamming him down. Brutus ended up going for the cover, and Eric kicked out. We had the Creed brothers end up double teaming Eric with some stomps. Julius ended up taking Eric down with a suplex, and he had pinning Brutus with a gut wrench suplex onto Eric, to which he ended up going for the cover, and Eric ended up kicking out. You had Ivar end up tagging in as, Eric, ended up tagging Ivar in. Ivar came in. He had pinned Brutus with a back body drop, which was followed up by a sidewalk slam. Ivar then ended up hitting a basement crossbody to Brutus. Julius ended up avoiding an avalanche in the corner from Ivar, but Ivar ended up hitting a seated senton. Julius ended up running in, but Ivar ended up spin kicking him down. Brutus then ended up hitting Julius with the Bronco Buster, which was followed up by a sit-out powerbomb. So we had Eric ended up tagging in, and he kneed Julius in the face. So later on in the match, we had Julius end up leaving up to the top rope, and he had to pin Ivar with a awesome, nice superplex from the top. Brutus then followed up with a moonsault, to which he ended up going for the cover, and Eric broke up the pin. So this led to the end of the match where Eric ended up rocking Brutus with a massive forearm, and the War Raiders were going for the War Machine, but Julius ended up blasting Ivar in the side of the head with the World Tag Team Championship, and the ref called for the bell, so the match ended in a disqualification with the War Raiders win the match. But this was a good match here, aside from the ending, but I'd like to see a rematch against these two teams. I think we're going to get a rematch at the Elimination Chamber for the World Tag Team Championship. So, looking forward to it. I think the War Raiders and the Creed Brothers had very good chemistry here. And I don't mind seeing a rematch between these two teams. And then we saw Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was lying on the couch in the Judgment Day clubhouse, and Carlito was in pain from the phenomenal forearm that he took from Styles. Finn Balor walked in, and he ended up saying that Liv Morgan should have listened to him. Dominic ended up saying to Balor that Liv Morgan already qualified for the Elimination Chamber, and Raquel will qualify next week, and that they also have a guaranteed tag team title match. Balor ended up saying, oh, well, that's a lot of excuses coming from a guy who was made to look like a fool by AJ Styles. So Dominic ended up saying that Balor is the fool for not helping him and Carlito. Yep, little cracks are forming in the Judgment Day. So Balor ended up saying that Dominic needs to finish what he started with Styles, and he will stay out of it. Dominic ended up saying to Balor that they've been shorthanded since Jade McDonough went down, and should get a new member. So Balor made a remark about McDonough being injured. So Liv Morgan ended up saying to Balor not to blame Dominic. She ended up saying that they do need a new member. And Balor ended up refusing to find a new member for the Judgment Day. So, of course, next week, Finn Balor will face Seth Rollins. He said he will beat Seth Rollins and win the Elimination Chamber and go on to win the title at WrestleMania. So, that was that. And then we saw Damage Control. Dakota Kai and Io, they were walking backstage. Rhea Ripley walked up to Io. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that she doesn't owe Io anything. And she's not going to give her a match because she owes her. So Rhea ended up saying that she went to Adam Pearce. And she's given Io a match because she wants to. So Rhea ended up saying that she'll defend her Women's World Championship against Io on the Monday Night Raw after Elimination Chamber. To which Io ended up telling Rhea, I can't wait. There you go. Io versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship on the Monday Night Raw after Elimination Chamber. Will Io win? No. Then we had CM Punk. CM Punk was in the ring. Of course, Punk will be in the Elimination Chamber with John Cena and Drew McIntyre. Punk ended up saying that it's great to be alive on a Monday night in Nashville. He ended up saying that it's obvious that they are on the road to WrestleMania. Punk ended up saying that if you were to ask him a few weeks ago, he'd have told them with all the confidence in the world that he was going to win the Royal Rumble. He ended up saying sometimes he talks too much. Punk ended up saying that he is disappointed, and he's not mad at Jey Uso. Punk ended up saying that he likes watching his peers accomplish his goals. He ended up saying that his goal is still going to WrestleMania. He ended up saying Jey Uso declared that he would go after Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship. So Punk ended up saying that a few weeks ago, he told Cody Rhodes he wouldn't stab him in the back. He'd stab him in the front. Punk ended up saying that he's in the Elimination Chamber now. Punk ended up saying that he was not happy that John Cena got into the Elimination Chamber without having to qualify. He ended up saying that the bad news for Cena is he had to bust his ass to qualify. Punk had to bust his ass to qualify. So Punk ended up saying that he's going to beat the living crap out of Cena and go to WrestleMania to cash in the only way he knows how. He ended up saying that the other man who was qualified for the Elimination Chamber is that piece of garbage, Drew McIntyre. So Punk ended up saying that McIntyre ran to SmackDown after Hell in a Cell. He ended up saying next we have someone he doesn't even like to name drop, and that is Seth Rollins. He ended up saying that Rollins is taking on Finn Balor. Either could win, and Punk ended up saying that he will win no matter what. He ended up saying that he's never been more confident in his life. So this brought out Logan Paul. Logan Paul came out, got boos from the crowd, got go-away heat from the crowd. Punk ended up remarking that he didn't know whose music that was. Punk then sat on the top turnbuckle and started laughing. Well, Logan Paul ended up saying that he sees why they call him a punk, although he can come up with a bunch of better names. So Logan Paul ended up saying, unfortunately, he can't say it on TV. Did Logan Paul end up forgetting that he's not on cable, he's on Netflix? So Logan Paul ended up saying that what he cannot understand is the crowd booing him, and they cheer Punk. So Logan Paul was like, why? Why do the fans boo me and they cheer Punk? He ended up saying that Punk talked trash about him. And Logan Paul ended up saying that he threw him over the top rope in the Royal Rumble the next night. And that was the best 15 minutes of Punk's career. Logan Paul ended up saying that he had Punk's number at the Royal Rumble. And he will have it at the Elimination Chamber. He ended up saying tonight it's Rey Mysterio's turn for 15 minutes of fame. So Punk ended up comparing Logan Paul's heat to Dominic Mysterio. So Punk ended up saying that you have mentioned Logan Paul in his promo, but forgot he was in the match. He ended up saying that if Logan Paul is lucky enough to get by Rey Mysterio and the 619, he'll put him to sleep in Toronto. So pretty much that was basically how the segment ended. But overall, this was a decent segment here. Punk, just saying, oh, it's great to be alive in Nashville. We're on the road to WrestleMania. My goal is to go to WrestleMania. And then we had the main event. Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. This was a very good match here to close out the show. So the match got underway. Rey ended up slapping Logan Paul, and he started beating Logan Paul down the corner. Logan Paul rolled out of the ring, and he was not happy with Rey. Logan Paul got on the apron, and he ended up shouldering Rey back. Rey ducked a lariat from Logan Paul. Rey then ended up grabbing Logan Paul, but Paul ended up taking Rey down. Paul hit the ropes, and there was some, miscue there. So Rey ended up wrenching Logan Paul's arm. Paul ended up leapfrogging Rey twice. He went for a monkey flip, but Rey ended up putting the brakes on, and he stomped away at Logan Paul's face. Logan Paul then ended up reversing the whip, and he had pinned Rey with a tilt-a-whirl gutbuster. Logan Paul then threw Rey into the corner and started punching away at him. Logan Paul then ended up starting kneeing away at Rey's ribs, and he was waiting for Rey to get up. Logan Paul then stunned Rey with some left jabs. Logan Paul then started taunting the crowd as the crowd was chanting, "Logan sucks." So Rey ended up avoiding a big right hand from Logan Paul, and he started punching away at Logan Paul. So Logan Paul ended up going for a tilt-a-whirl, but Rey ended up falling onto Paul. Paul ended up charging, but Rey ended up pulling the top rope down to get Logan Paul out of the ring. Rey then ended up wiping Logan Paul out with a corkscrew plancha. Rey then ended up getting Logan Paul back into the ring, and he bounced Logan Paul off the top turnbuckle. Rey ended up knocking Logan Paul back. He went to the top rope. Logan Paul ended up fighting back. He ended up picking Rey up, and he ended up delivering a moonsault fallaway combo, which was awesome. That was an awesome spot there from Logan Paul. So both Logan Paul and Rey were down. So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Logan Paul was in control of the match. He ended up sending Rey into the corner, and he had pinned a waistlock takeover. Rey ended up fighting up, and he had pinned the ropes, but Logan Paul ended up taking Rey down with a kitchen sink knee to his midsection. We had Rey end up going for a wheelbarrow bulldog on the floor, but Logan Paul countered that by slamming Rey sternum first to the barricade. We had Rey end up later on doing a lion salt on Logan Paul, to which he ended up going for the coverage, which Logan Paul kicked out. You had Rey ended up knocking Logan Paul into position for the 619. Rey hit the ropes for a 619, but Logan Paul ended up big booting Rey down. There's a point where Rey ended up knocking Logan Paul back into position for the 619, and Rey ended up connecting with it to Logan Paul. Rey headed to the top rope. He ended up going to the top, and he ended up delivering a splash, but Logan Paul ended up getting his knees up. Logan Paul then ended up crushing Rey with a punch with his titanium reinforced right hand. So Logan Paul then ended up flipping Rey into a massive DDT, and he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Logan Paul ended up winning the match, and Logan Paul is now joining John Cena, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre in the Elimination Chamber. But overall, it was a good match here between Logan Paul and Rey here. So post-match, we had the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They ended up attacking Rey. And that's how the show ended. Show came to an end at 10:28 Eastern. But overall, Monday Night Raw, very good show it was tonight. But anyway, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check me out tomorrow night on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel as the Movie Fanatics end up returning after a 2-week hiatus. So stay tuned for that tomorrow on Luke Ponto's channel at 8 o'clock Eastern. So we're going to be talking about, the weekend box office and the movie news. So join me over on Luke Ponto's channel. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.